Weary. What in the world are we reviewing?
Excited exclamation. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Commentary. We are doing a commentary on this.
Oh, good one. That's how the robot talks.
Yeah, hi. Welcome to Star Wars Total Rewatch.
Welcome back.
Where we are talking about a video game today,
Yeah.
not something that you watch.
Replay. Total replay.
You could watch somebody play it.
Yeah.
And I'm Aaron.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Isaac.
And I'm Cody.
And I'm Hannah.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Our pleasure. We brought you on because you have played this game a few times, which is very cool.
Which is more times than me.
Right, and Aaron.
You've all played it, the rest of you, right? You're all familiar with this thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have not beat it.
Oh.
That doesn't count.
I did not get very far.
I guess we should say, spoiler alert, if you
Yep.
haven't played the game before, we're gonna spoil the whole thing.
I mean, this game is from 2003.
Yeah.
Spoilers don't matter for me because I haven't even started it, but for you they might.
I just watched through spoilers anyways.
It's been spoiled, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So are we going to go through all the cutscenes?
I'm going to have them as a reference.
I think that's like the best way to do it, and then we can obviously talk about other things, but like,
I also have the master outline that I made.
Oh my gosh.
oh my. The game's obviously super, super long, so I mean, you can't really, we could talk for
We could.
week.
We won't.
I think our podcast should reflect the same length of it takes to beat the game.
No. But yeah, this is one of my favorite games ever made. And so this is a good opportunity to talk about it, which I never mind talking about this game.
It just never
So-
gets old.
Oh, Republic. But yeah, it's a Star Wars game.
I'll tell you which games I have played.
Yeah.
The Super Nintendo, Super Empire Strikes Back,
Mm-hmm.
The Impossible game.
So hard.
and Episode 1 Racer,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and the Battlefront games.
You've played all kinds of games.
Yeah, man.
All good ones.
Not the best one, though.
No.
Well, this is a very story-driven RPG style game. So I feel like there's so much depth to Star Wars lore. It's practically a movie. Even better than a movie, you could venture to say. So
And it's very Star Wars.
very Star Wars, yeah.
Not like they did a bunch of weird things that didn't
Mhm.
work or whatever.
Yeah, it's amazing how much it feels like Star Wars for being set way before any of the movies.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing that they were allowed to even make a game like in this era.
hmm
I feel like the new games that have been coming out are pretty much on the safe side.
hmm
Yeah.
This one is way out.
It's kind of a risk.
What a cool time period to set it in.
We talked about the fact that we've never seen any Old Republic stuff on a series or,
Yeah.
or a movie. Only games. Only games.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, so it's cool here they get to explore it. And just a question, I'm wondering, is this wasn't the first time we'd seen anything. This game didn't invent the Old Republic, right? There were books or comics or something before.
Well, when did this come out?
2003.
Yeah, I looked that up so I'd have something to contribute here. So it's around the same time as the stuff we've been discussing recently.
Yep.
But there was something about a comic series that had been before it.
Okay.
With the Old Republic?
Yeah, but I didn't read a lot of detail on that.
There wasn't a lot to base it on anyway. It wasn't like a novel series or something.
Right. And they pretty much had just free reign to do
Yeah.
practically anything they wanted, you
It's
know?
pretty wild. This game like defined the Old Republic era. It's
That's
amazing.
that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much history packed into this game.
Yeah.
And they're still making these, right? Like there's an online one that's still going, is that
Yeah,
right?
so this is the original, and then there's a sequel, which is very different.
But it's
We
good.
won't talk too much about it, but then there's the MMO, the Old Republic, which is also very different, and I'm
Okay.
not really even sure like when in the timeline that's
Mhm.
supposed to take place, like before or after this game. I've never quite figured that out. I haven't played it a whole
Whether they even like count this as like canon or, you know,
Yeah.
did they just pretend this didn't happen. I don't really know.
What I was reading was that the Old Republic games are considered legends,
Hmm.
Right.
Mhm.
but because they're still making updates and expansions to the game, they said it's the only content that's still producing new Legends content.
New Legends content. Yeah.
Interesting. For those that don't know, Legends is... Someone else can explain it probably better.
No.
I have no idea what it is. I just-
Stuff that Disney doesn't really want to count, but they know people like it, so they will allow you to continue enjoying it.
They threw everything into Legends when they made the new trilogy, and then started picking what they wanted from the old.
Right, it was basically every single thing before 2014, except for like the movies.
It was the Order 66 of lore in Star Wars.
Oh, that's so sad.
But you know what? Our motto on this show is everything is canon, so we're going with
I
it.
like that motto.
I agree.
It's a double-edged sword.
Because then you have to accept a whole lot of strange 80s
The
cartoons.
Sun King.
That's right. And that Leaf Queen is canon.
Let's start doing this because it's very, very long, and we're gonna summarize it, and it's still gonna be long. So
Let's read the scroll.
yeah,
Let's hear it.
here we go. 4,000 years before the rise of the Galactic Empire, the Republic verges on collapse. Darth Malak, last surviving apprentice of the Dark Lord Revan, has unleashed an invincible Sith armada upon an unsuspecting galaxy. Crushing all resistance, Malak's war of conquest has left the Jedi Order scattered and vulnerable as countless knights fall in battle and many more swear allegiance to the new Sith Master. In the skies above the outer rim world of Terrace, a Jedi battle fleet engages the forces of Darth Malak in a desperate effort to halt the Sith's galactic domination. 4,000 years.
Four score and...
If you want to have some context for how long that is, that takes you back to 2000 BC
Right.
in
Oh
real
my
world.
gosh.
This is like the Babylonian Empire, or maybe earlier than that even.
Right.
And also, Yoda only was 900 years old, so that's 3,000 years pre-Yoda.
B-Y.
And just the idea that the same Republic is like still
I know.
going. I don't know. I don't see that happening.
Well, and in this game, you learn about legends that took place way before this game. And, like, it's crazy.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there's even older history.
Is there a way to like summarize in a couple of sentences what the game is about? Like a very brief summary before we really dig into it all?
I mean, just to set it up, the Wikipedia article concerning like the time period this takes place in it's considered the Jedi Civil War. That's what it's called, which is defined by what happens in this game. There was two young Jedi, Malak and Revan, and they turned to the dark side and they set off into space, the outer reaches of space, and then came back with a giant army. They are wiping out the Jedi. Is that pretty good?
Yeah, that's you've got me interested.
That's the premise. That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah. I just want to know, what are we going for? What's going to happen in this?
That's the big mystery. Yes.
Okay.
Also, when this game starts, Darth Revan has just been killed by his apprentice Malak. He blew up the ship he was commanding.
Malak turned on Revan, blew up Revan's ship.
I thought Bastila killed Revan.
She was there.
She was fighting him at the time, yeah. So we see a flashback of Bastila is fighting Darth Revan, and then Malak fires upon the bridge, and it actually blows them up, but Bastila survives.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really get that out of it, but I agree now.
Yeah.
It's not 100% clear, I guess, but yeah.
It's not 100% clear. That's what we see, and that's the way to describe it.
You kind of learn more later.
Yep.
It's supposed to be kind of confusing at first.
We will definitely talk more. Yeah. But let's get into the way the game starts. You are on board a Republic ship, so you're fighting over this planet Terrace, and you are just a Republic soldier. And the ship you're on is called the Endar Spire, and it's exploding. It's under attack. It's blowing up. So you have to get to the escape pods. And as you're escaping, you meet Karth Onassi, who is
He's the pilot of the Endar Spire.
He's a pilot?
He was basically piloting the Endar Spire, as far as I remember.
Cool. And so you both escape on a escape pod, crash land on Terrace, and you end up hiding out on the planet Terrace. And the Sith are occupying the planet. It's under Sith occupation.
So Bastila is on that ship, and during this battle, she apparently has this crazy force power battle meditation that can turn the tide of battles.
I don't think we introduced Bastila.
That's what I was just saying. So she's like this really powerful Jedi, really young, and she's on this ship during the battle. And so you're kind of trying to, find her initially on the ship, but then she
took an escape pod too, yeah.
So she crashes on the planet, and then we're basically trying to find her, us and Karth.
She's very valuable.
Yes.
Yeah, battle meditation is a very cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just the idea that you can influence a large group of people's minds, because it's like that when she uses her battle meditation, they are all able to like act in conjunction with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like super efficient tactics and stuff.
Is she directing the troops or something?
I guess I don't know if that's really what she's doing, or if she's more like just like someone making them fight better.
It's like the force is just kind of flowing throughout the whole army.
Yeah.
You know, they're like of one mind or something.
I always felt like the Emperor may have like had some sort of that. I don't know. I think obviously never talked about it, but like he just has so much power, and like he's got to be able to influence. You know, it's kind of the idea of like he can cloud. So the Jedi couldn't ever see anything because he was clouding it, right? It's just these crazy powers like that, like battle meditations.
Like if this is a thing you can do, then he'd be taking advantage of that.
Yeah,
you'd think.
It also it feels like in Star Wars sometimes certain Jedi just have a unique capability, you know?
Right. I would agree with that too. So I don't think everyone can do.
Yeah, I mean maybe it just comes naturally to them, or maybe it's some people just cannot learn certain Force abilities, but. Yeah, in this game, that is considered a very unique thing.
Yeah, like nobody else has it. I mean, she's the key to their war effort.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Terrace?
It's a little bit like Coruscant, just like all city, no nature, tons of people, a lot of poor people, and a lot of choices to make.
And discrimination.
There's layers to the city, and it gets more and more poor as you go.
Yeah.
You ask around, you find out that Bastila was actually kidnapped by a gang, an undercity gang called the Black Volcars.
Yeah.
And so you have to get her back. So you go ask for help from another gang called the Hidden Becks. They're nice guys. So.
A nice gang.
They're still a gang, but...
So in this game, you also always have the option, light side or dark side.
Right, you either can ask their help or, like, kill them all.
Either help the Hidden Becks, or you can kill the Hidden Becks.
Wow.
And they're very blatant.
It almost always gives you a dialogue option. Like, die.
Yep.
Time to die. That's what it is.
Right, and, like, you can rescue Bastila either way. It just, like, lets you take the same path, but, like, different way to do it.
Yeah, inevitably, you end up having to win a swoop bike race, which Bastila is being offered as the prize, as a slave, apparently. It's pretty easy to win, because I guess you're using some kind of prototype swoop bike.
That could blow up.
It could blow
at
up.
any time.
Yeah, they make sure to tell you that every time before you start.
And you win. You win the race. But then the leader of the Black Volcars, his name is Brejic. I didn't even write that down. That was off the top of my head.
Wow. Well done.
He decides he's not going to give Bastila up as the prize because turns out she's a Jedi. He didn't know that before. But then Bastila manages to break free of her restraints, and you take down Brejic and the Volcars. Go back to your apartment that you've been hiding in with Karth.
You pick up a couple of other people along the way.
Yeah, Mission and Zalbar.
Mission and Zalbar.
Mission?
Yep, her name is Mission. She's a Twi'lek street rat.
Diamond in the rough, you might say. I don't know, I was just going with the Aladdin reference.
Yeah, I got you.
Instead of a monkey, she has a Wookiee. Which is much more useful, I think.
But according to her, she has saved him many times and can take care of herself. So don't say that to her face.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean? You think I can't take care of myself? I've got street smarts. I know how to get by on my own. In fact, I look out for Zalbar more than he looks out for me, you know?
Yeah, Zalbar is her Wookiee friend.
Nice.
So they helped you break into the Black Volkar's base.
Yeah.
Well, you somehow save Zalbar and he pledges himself to you, correct?
Well, right. So you rescue Zalbar. He was in the sewers for some reason. He was captured by Gamorreans, actually. So that's a nice thing to mention. You save him, and he pledges a life debt to you, as Wookiees do.
So then they both come with you.
Then you have to take Mission along with you.
Yeah, you're stuck with Mission for the rest of the game.
So are these characters who are with you for a long time?
Mm-hmm.
For the whole game.
Okay. So that's worth talking about.
It is. And then I wrote down a few little things to mention. You sneak by you killed a Rancor.
What? Just kind of casually.
Mm-hmm.
He's like guarding the entrance to the Volkar base, so that's a fun little battle there.
You don't battle him though.
You can try.
You simply just plant mines in his food and he blows up.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Mines.
Oh boy. Well, that's one way to do
much
it.
easier
But
way.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's pretty huge.
Oh yeah.
So then you need to escape Terrace. So there's probably a cutscene here I can show. I forgot what this ship is called. The Sith,
Malik's ship.
Space Triangle number 7.
the Leviathan. It's called the Leviathan.
Oh, right.
It belongs to Admiral Saul Kareth, who we'll get back to later.
Ooh.
And also, Darth Malak is on this ship. And Malak decides, like, they're trying to search for Bastila on Terrace. He decides it's taking too long. Let's just bombard the planet from space and
Flatten the city. Classic Star Wars.
It's the only way to be sure.
In
Right.
classic Star Wars fashion, they blow up the whole planet.
Wipe this pathetic planet from the face of the galaxy.
Resume the bombardment, Commander. Wipe this pathetic planet from the face of the galaxy.
That's what he says.
He does, yeah. Malak is an interesting character. He feels kind of like theatrical.
Yeah.
Overdone the way he.
Yeah, but it's
Kind of
I like-
short-sighted.
Yeah.
Revan was the brains behind everything.
Right. That's the
brains of the
idea.
operation.
And Revan was the master. Malik was his apprentice, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
So you need to escape Terrace before they blow it up, right? But there's like a Sith blockade, so like no ships are able to get out. But you learn about one ship that could possibly escape the blockade. It's called the Ebon Hawk,
Oh, yeah.
but it belongs to the Exchange crime. The Exchange is a crime syndicate, and there's a crime boss called Davik on the planet, and he owns the Ebon Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
And you meet a mercenary named Canderous.
Yeah.
It's actually a Mandalorian.
Nice.
He works for Davik, so he's able to get you into Davik's base. And you kill Davik and escape with Ivan Hawk.
All
Yep.
the ships are named after birds. Falcons.
Yeah. They were definitely going for a Millennium Falcon kind of vibe with Ebon Hawk. It even looks like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh, it totally does.
Discus shaped, but it's a very popular Corellian freighter style design. So
Is it
it's
Corellian?
understandable.
So again, this is 4,000 years ago.
It's not. It's by the Core Galaxy Systems subsidiary, and it's a dynamic class model freighter.
Thanks.
Well, I guess it's like, why reinvent the wheel? If you found a design spaceship that works, just keep doing it that way.
Make it look like a wheel.
Ooh.
I mean, they're pretty cheap ship-wise. You can pick up a used one for around 30,000
At your local dealership.
30,000.
I could buy my own ship for... Wait,
Isn't
that's
that what
what you're
right?
talking about, buying your own ship for that.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Let me ask another beginner question here.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's why you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
No, see, I'm the window into this for the audience who may not have played this.
Exactly.
Who are we playing as? Like, is this guy anybody important, or does he just become something or other because
Wow, you don't even know
Oh.
how good of a question that
Yeah.
is.
Asking the right questions.
You have asked the right question.
His past is a bit of a mystery. You kind of have amnesia, which is a classic RPG trope.
Okay.
You can be male or female, and you like choose your own name.
Right. So it's totally custom who you are.
But you're kind of the same like role in the story.
Yep,
Yep.
you're just a Republic
Okay.
soldier.
Allegedly.
Right.
Okay, as far as we know right now, you're just a soldier.
Garth doesn't trust you.
Karth, Karth has some serious trust issues.
He doesn't trust anyone.
Well, and then I know you like can get light side and dark side points for making decisions. So you presumably become either a Jedi or a Sith at some point?
Well, fancy you saying that.
Okay.
As soon as you escape the planet, you go straight to Dantooine,
Oh, really?
where there is a Jedi Academy.
The Enclave.
Yeah, an enclave.
That's the one that narrowly avoids being blown up in A New Hope?
Yeah.
Right. And there's a Jedi Council there.
Oh.
The Jedi Council? I don't really know if there's other academies or anything.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of other Jedi.
But the reason you go there is because you and Bastila realize you have some sort of force link.
Force bond. Yeah.
And you both share a
A
vision.
dyad.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that word in from Rise of Skywalker.
Exactly.
It's all the same, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. It reminded me of this when I saw the new movie.
The second game has something like that too.
Yeah, yep.
So yeah, you're apparently linked to Bastila somehow. I think Bastila also wanted to hide here and probably get some advice from the Masters.
Yeah.
But it also seems as if your character is force sensitive. So decide what you're going to do about that too. But when you land on Dantooine, you see a vision of Darth Revan and Darth Malak, apparently in some ancient ruins. So that's another mystery of the planet that you're going to have to uncover. Anyway, you end up being trained as a Jedi, and you take to it very, very quickly. It's amazing.
Suspiciously quickly.
And whether you're being evil or good, you're becoming a Jedi, and you kind of like, they don't know if you're evil. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, you can lie. It says lie in parentheses.
There's some
Like,
lie
oh yes,
options.
master.
Yeah.
oh yes, I want to be served a light.
Yeah.
So easy to fool them.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you get sent on a mission with Bastila because of the vision you had. Because I think it might be a clue to how Revan and Malak amassed this huge army so quickly.
Yeah, so Daniel mentioned that, and that is a very key thing. It's like they disappeared and they came back like literally with a massive army, like out of nowhere.
Like, impossibly large, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, where did they get this big army? Obviously, people are joining them too. You know, Jedi fall away, and like, what was that big commander, Saul? He fell away, and
People think that like there's no chance against the Sith army, and so they just try to get on the good side, on the winning side.
I think it's a little of that. I think it's also like, well, you didn't talk about when Malak and Revan, they went off to fight this Mandalorian war. The Mandalorians started this big war.
So that's some background to before this game even.
Yeah, that is pretty important, though.
But it's kind of key to why they fell, because the Mandalorians were like slaughtering and just conquering worlds, and the Jedi Council kind of wanted to stay out of it. And a handful of Jedi, Malak and Revan included, they kind of led the charge to be like, hey, we need to fight these guys and, stop this from happening. And the classic, a war kind of consumed the Jedi, kind of similar to the Rise of the Empire, right? How it consumed a lot of Jedi and Anakin fell and all that. It consumed, I think, Revan and Malak, and that was kind of when then they won the war against the Mandalorians, then they disappeared and came back as Sith with a huge army to conquer again.
Yeah. So the Mandalorian War, because the Mandalorians are a race, and they are very, very warlike.
Yep. So
you have Canderous with you for the whole game, and he'll tell you all his tales of war.
And glory.
He thinks it says how great the battle was and everything.
Right. They kind of live for the battle. It's like they don't even care if they win, and they don't fear. It's not like they're like conquering because they want power. It's more of they're testing themselves, against everyone.
Yeah.
Can we do it?
The glory.
Very interesting mindset.
Yep.
This is the way.
Yeah.
This is the way.
But yeah, they were beat by Revan Malak.
And even though Canderous fought against the Jedi, he respects them as warriors. So that's how he's still teamed up with you throughout the game.
A worthy foe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he joins you initially kind of as a escape route, and then it turns into he respects you and wants to follow you kind of thing.
Right.
As I think most people either respect you or don't like your actions. Depending on your dark or light side choices, certain characters dislike you more and more, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was going to mention also on Dantooine, you pick up another pathetic life form called
wow.
Juhani.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Well, or do you pick her up?
Right. She was a Jedi who's like conflicted. She thought she killed her master. Turned out she didn't really, but she's like, well, guess I turned to the dark side now. You've got to come and bring her back to the Jedi.
And that's like your test to become a Padawan, I guess.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
You also have the option to just straight up kill her, and then you have an empty spot on your crew roster for the rest of the game.
Or I think you can actually just leave her there too.
Yeah, if you don't like choose the right dialogue options.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. But she's a very side character. Probably won't mention her again.
She's a Cathar. She's like a cat.
Cat species.
Yeah.
We had talked about them a couple times before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, so they find the ruins. So this is totally crazy.
Big part of the game.
A big part of the game and Star Wars lore in general. You find an ancient droid in the ruins, and he claims that it and the ruins are 20,000 years old.
Yeah.
So this is going back to pre-anything.
It's like prehistory.
It's like going back to the beginning almost.
But not even, because
that's
the
true.
people that made this ruins, he calls them the builders. And they also made a thing called the Star Forge, which you piece together that's the thing that Reverend Malik found that's somehow creating all these ships. But you don't know how to get to it. You don't know where it is. It's somewhere out in the outer reaches of the galaxy, right? But you find a star map in the ruins that has like a piece of the puzzle as far as where the location is. But it also hints that there are other star maps on 4 other planets. So that's kind of what sets up the plot of the game. The planets are Tatooine, which is very familiar. Kashyyyk, also familiar. Manan, which is an ocean planet. And Korriban, which is the Sith world.
Oh, I've heard of that.
This old droid, how old did you say he was?
20,000 years old.
Okay, so did he say who was he part of, like Zim the Despot or the Rakata Empire?
The
or like...
Rakata, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he was part of the Rakata?
That's who the builders are.
Yes, we learn that later.
Okay.
Cody's doing some research.
I'm just thumbing through my Star Wars The Essential Atlas book over here.
Everyone should have one of those at home.
They should, because the opening has an excerpt from a Baobab.
Oh, yeah? Oh, is that the book that he wrote?
I don't know, maybe.
We talked about that character who supposedly wrote like a guide to the galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Okay, that's a different world.
The first planet that I recommend going to would be Tatooine. You can go in any order, but that's my recommendation for new players.
Just because it's most familiar?
Yeah, not to go too much into it, but there's certain quests that make sense to do in a certain order. Each of your crew member have their own character quests, and it's easier. It can be, I guess. There's some parts of this that are pretty hard. The Sand People can be very hard.
I feel like Tatooine especially, it's just so obvious that they just tried to make it look like the Star Wars we know.
Okay.
Like, there's sand people, like, all the buildings look the same.
It's pretty
The Jawas everywhere.
That's a good point. I feel like they maybe made some planets that are like, we don't want to be like everything just, this isn't Star Wars, you know? But then some planets, they kind of did ones that we haven't explored, and they got, you know, so then they had to kind of go out on a limb. And
Sure. That makes sense, I guess, to do one planet that's recognizable.
Yeah, it's a good mix.
Tatooine's really the only one we've seen at this point. Like, did episode 3 come out? Yeah, I don't think so.
The holiday special.
That's true.
But, yeah, I know. We've never really seen it much.
So that one's kind of new, I'd say. Especially what you end up doing there, I think, is where you go.
But yeah, on Tatooine, you land at a port city called Anchorhead, which was set up by the Zerka Corporation, which is just a company, galaxy-spanning company.
Luke talks about going to Anchorhead.
Yep,
He
right.
says he could take Obi-Wan as far as Anchorhead, and that's about it, then.
4,000 years later, and it's still there, right? But yeah, so Zerka set up a mining operation on Tatooine. Thought it was going to be good mining, but apparently not. It's really terrible.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about up and leaving the planet, and they joke that they've got their big sand crawler miners, and they said, maybe the Jawas will repurpose the sand crawlers. Wouldn't that be funny?
Oh, guess what?
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like, they set up some stuff for
For 4,000 years later. Those sandcrawlers will run forever.
yeah. The Jawas keep them running. Hey,
For 4,000 years.
sure.
I know. Yeah, I know. The amount of time doesn't.
No, it's cool. It's just kind of funny.
I don't expect them to follow real world like amount of time that things take, but it is interesting to think about and say how realistic is that?
So you also have a vision before you land on this planet. You and Bastila share a dream again, showing a star map on Tatooine, and it looks like it's in some kind of cave. That's all you really know. So you assume it's like out in the desert somewhere, but you find out that the Dune Sea is restricted to people working for Zerka, the miners. So you make a deal with Zerka Corp to kill the Sand People because they're attacking their miners. So they let you go out, and you can look for your star map while you're out there too. But you also you get a droid named is HK-47 who speaks Tuscan.
Oh.
So you have to like kill Sand People, dress up as them, and then sneak into their home so they don't kill you right away. And then they capture you anyway, but you're still able to negotiate because you have HK-47 with you. It's kind of a roundabout thing, but it's really, really interesting. Like, you're actually able to communicate with the Sand People, and you get some of their history and stuff, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I don't know if you want to go into it.
Well, I can summarize a little bit. I wasn't going to talk too much about the Rakata, but they tie into Tatooine. The Rakata were like they basically just dominated any planet that they landed on, and like the people on that planet.
Mm-hmm.
So Tatooine apparently used to be just a normal lush planet,
Mm-hmm.
and whoever the Sand People, their race, lived there. But then like they tried to rise up against the builders, and the builders destroyed the planet and just made it a desert. And they kind of messed up the Sand People too. So like I think they've kind of had to adapt themselves to the hostile environment. But whatever they look like under the rags, you know.
I didn't remember any of that.
Pretty crazy.
That's like Tatooine's history?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's dialogue that's very hard to get because you have to be able to like persuade the Sand People enough when you're talking to them. So that you have the choice of killing the Sand People.
Full on Anakin.
Full on Anakin Skywalker. Or you make a deal with them. They want moisture evaporators. Makes sense. Something they would want.
Yeah.
And then they agree to leave if you give it to them. So.
Either way, stopping them from attacking Zerka. So
Yes.
it's kind of like the classic. There's two options to do your mission. One's evil, one's good, and you can choose.
It sounds like the choices are usually pretty clear
Yeah.
which is the good one and which is the bad one.
Oh, in this game, so obvious.
Very much so.
It's kind of fun because it's also funny how obvious they are. Like the wording will be like really nice, like
Oh,
yeah, we'll go get your moisture evaporators, or
Time to die.
yeah, time to die. Yeah.
And you literally can get dark side points just by being a jerk. Like, even if you don't hurt anybody, you can just kind of be mean, and then you'll be like, dark side points game.
Yeah.
You do a mission for somebody and they're like paying you for it, and you're like, how about you give me more if I don't kill you? Like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, you can just threaten people left and right. You'll get money faster.
Yup. Guaranteed to get more money for evil.
I know, it feels so good.
Oh, this made me think of, so, as you're being good or evil, it has repercussions and obvious signs in your facial features.
Right.
Like, you become kind of disgusting looking.
Oh.
Face is gray.
Like it's kind of like Emperor Palpatine looking.
Yeah,
It's like
you age really prematurely.
you're kind of clearly looking evil, and like people actually sometimes comment about it too.
Oh, like the other characters can see the difference.
Right.
So you find the star map. It's in a cave that is currently occupied by a crate dragon. So, do they talk about crate dragons in any other Star Wars?
Well, don't you see one, like a skeleton of one, in the sand right at the beginning?
That's what I was thinking. In A New Hope, you see the skeleton.
Oh.
They don't explain in the
Cool.
movie. They don't explain what it is, but I think that's what it's
That's
supposed
what
to
I've
be.
heard it's meant to be.
Basically, they're big giant lizards that can be massive and super deadly, but they also like make pearls that are like super valuable.
Yeah, very
It's
valuable.
enticing, so people try to hunt them so they can.
They form these pearls in their stomach or something.
You have to kill it to get the pearl.
So this one, you end up killing it. There's this hunter out here. He says he doesn't really want to kill it, or he doesn't want to kill it as unsporting a way as putting mines down and luring it out.
Classic.
But it's gotten like way too close to Anchorhead, so it's dangerous.
That's how a true hunter kills a crate dragon.
Right. Yeah, you kill it, you get a pearl, which can actually be used as a lightsaber crystal.
Really?
Ooh.
Funnily enough, but then you find the star map. So just a mention, after you get the first star map, no matter what planet you're on, as you're leaving the planet or getting the star map, you are attacked by the bounty hunter Calo Nord,
Wait.
who was sent after you by Darth Malik.
He didn't die?
What, on Terrace? He does not die.
Just gets buried under rubble, but surprise, he comes back.
You run into him on Terrace. He was also working for Davik.
Kind of a legendary bounty hunter.
He's a pretty unique character. He's very short and very short on words as well.
Yep. The classic scene that I remember is you meet him and you can taunt him, then he goes 1, and then you can say more taunting words and he goes 2.
Right.
And then if you do it again, he says 3, and then he just kills you the first time you meet him.
One shot. Classic. But this time he actually does die.
All right.
And I think he'll show up on, if you don't go to this planet first, he'll still show up on.
Any of the 4.
Yeah.
It's after the first star map.
So that's cool. They do things like that. And then also, there are things that, like, you know, if you were to complete this planet in its entirety, you would be missing parts of the game, actually.
Yeah, well, I had given you some advice when you were playing through it, that you should do the whole planet, like do all of the planets, but don't find the star maps. Like leave those, because after you do star maps, it triggers events in the game. So that's my other advice for new players.
And you're talking for people who want to be more complete.
If you want to see everything in the game, yeah, there's definitely stuff you can miss if you go straight through the story.
You wouldn't even really know some things you'd know you would miss out on. But
Yeah. Some things are like, oh, I guess I just can't do that anymore. It's like, oh.
Because some of them are like, oh, now that I talked to this person, I want to go back to Tatooine. And you can't, right? If you completed it.
No, Tatooine you can always go back to. Manan, which is the next one I would recommend doing. It's one that you cannot go back to after you finish the star map.
And I'd like to point out that Manan isn't it home of Admiral Akbar's species?
No.
No, that's
or am I mixing
calamari.
those up?
Oh, it's a different fish kind of species.
Oh,
Hellcat.
man. I totally messed that up. They're so similar,
They're
though.
called the Cellcath.
And they speak in like clicks and weird noises. And when you can't skip the dialogue, it goes on forever.
Oh, yeah. It takes them forever to say anything. And we don't say anything unless it takes a long time.
Unless
to say
it's
it.
worth taking a very long time to say.
Yeah, a little quicker than that.
But yeah, should we jump right into Manan?
Let's dive in.
Let's dive right in. That's what I was trying to. You got it.
Hey.
Yeah, so Manan is an interesting place because there's both a Sith and Republic presence here, and there's kind of this uneasy piece. There's a healing substance called Kolto. They produce it here. It's like produced underwater somewhere, so like only the Cellcath can harvest it, and it's super regulated. And so they didn't make a deal with either side. They're providing to both sides, trying to stay neutral. And the Cellcath are like very strongly enforce no fighting on Manan.
This is when there are a lot of Sith around, right? And Jedi, but
The Republic is here.
they're fighting each other. But this planet has both on it.
As far as the military force and stuff, Darth Malik has his Sith army.
Okay.
And then the Republic and the Jedi have their army.
Got it.
And that's the battle.
And there's obviously other Sith, I'm using quotation marks with my hands here.
But are they true Sith? I don't know.
But like you definitely fight other, Sith or these, evil force wielding people.
They're dark Jedi.
Yeah, they actually are called Dark Jedi, not Sith. You find out that the Republic had like a secret base underwater that they were harvesting extra Kolto, which was like part of a deal they made with like some of the Cellcath because some of them were starting to realize that the Sith were super evil. You go down to the base because they like lost contact with it. You find out that something has made all the Selkath go totally insane. They killed all the other Republic people in the base. Turns out that their mining woke up a giant Phyraxan shark.
Oh my gosh. That part is scary.
Yeah, it's some kind of like living god to the Selkath.
It is kind of like them.
It's like the Balrog. They dug too deep.
So you have the choice to destroy the mining operation there to like calm down the shark, or you can poison the water and kill the shark. Guess which one is dark side. But anyway, you find the star map. It's underwater. You have to go in a scuba suit and you're super slow walking on the ocean floor.
Oh my gosh, it's the worst. Not as bad as the space part.
Right. There is a way that you can still have access to the planet, I think, but it's really hard to not get totally banned from Manan after you finish the star map.
Right, because there's several like courtroom scenes, like Ace Attorney or whatever.
Really?
There it is. Yeah, the Selkath have trials for almost everything you do. There's a big murder trial that you can help somebody, a guy that was maybe falsely accused of murder. You can do this whole trial scene, and it's pretty insane.
That's not something I would have expected to see in a Star Wars game.
Well, and on Dantooine you get to do a similar thing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Help solve a murder, do a little detective work, so that's fun.
Yeah, if there's a feud between two families, it's basically Romeo and Juliet.
No, that's not the one I was talking about, but that's another one. No, there's like the guy who gets shot in the field.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking. That one's really cool.
Oh yeah, that's like a Jedi trial.
Yeah, it's not like a trial, but you kind of help solve it all.
By talking to the two people involved, or at least seen at the scene, and like this other droid that has like some of the evidence, and you can kind of pick different options, and yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's not all combat. There's some investigative mystery you can.
Yeah, some puzzles.
Now that we're talking about this, it would be great to see a Private Eye, film noir, Star Wars movie.
Oh, that
yeah.
would be great.
No, I mean it's basically Obi-Wan in Episode 2, kind of.
I
Yeah,
would
sure.
love that kind of game.
A Nancy Drew style Star Wars detective game.
Yes, my two favorite
Good
games.
stuff. Totally.
That's what's fun about the RPGs is they incorporate all these different feels to and different styles of missions. It's not all just mash buttons like Force Unleashed.
And it's not like gimmicky either. Like I feel like it kind of makes sense. Like you might come across these things as you're traveling as a Jedi.
As a keeper of the peace. Here.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
I also point out there's plenty of side quests and like fairly cool quests that we're not really mentioning, but it's
Right,
just
but that's why like some of us have played it so many times is because I'm always finding something new that I missed in other games.
you can miss things, and like you can have different interactions depending on what you say. It definitely changes conversations, and then certain things will affect long-term interactions and things like that. So
Okay.
Kashyyyk.
That's a fun one. Pick up another friend here.
Yes, we will. Zalbar is a Wookiee, so he's going back to his home planet. He has a huge part to play on Kashyyyk. Turns out he was banished from Kashyyyk, so he's not too excited about coming back here. You find out that the Zerka Corporation,
We heard about them. Yeah.
they are actually capturing and selling Wookiee slaves.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And they have worked out a deal with the Wookiees, with the Wookiee leader anyway, who is Zalbar's brother, Chundar. And he's not a very nice guy.
They call him Chunky for short.
No.
No, that seems like the way Wookiees would shorten that name.
But you had a vision that showed the star map is actually on the forest floor. So you're like, how are we going to get to the forest floor? But Chundar allows you to there's a lift that takes you down into the Shadowlands, which is like a sacred Wookiee hunting ground. It's like their rites of passage. They go down and hunt in the Shadowlands. You actually get to go into the Shadowlands in
Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order,
Oh.
which is pretty awesome.
Mhm.
I loved that. And here we meet Jolie Bindo.
Oh man.
Our good friend Jolie Bindo
I don't know. It's kind of like a Obi-Wan in A New Hope.
Yep. He's a Jedi.
Crazy old Jedi. He's been living alone.
Yeah.
Wait, is he a Wookiee?
No, he's a human.
He's a
Just
human
there.
Jedi who's been hiding out down here.
He's an old grumpy man. You get a lot of his story. You gotta sit through a lot of his meandering dialogue, but he does get to kind of his story, which it's pretty neat. He also like left the Order probably previous to the Mandalorian War. Even it was kind of like he just wanted to help people. So he actually what did he fly around for a while with some friends. He got married at one point.
Oh, yeah.
I think his wife died and ended up crash landing on Kashyyyk and just decided to set up shop for a while just to get away from it all. But he decides he's just going to join you. You don't have a say in the matter. He sees that you have a destiny.
He wants to be around to see what happens.
Yeah, and maybe influence you a little bit too.
Yeah.
He definitely is a good guy, even though he's like a great Jedi. He wants to see things play out in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he helps you find the star map. You also find Zalbar's father, who Chundar sent to the Shadowland, and he's kind of insane. But yeah, there's like a sword that you get.
Baka's sword.
The sword of Baka. Yeah, Baka is like Wookiee god or Mother Nature.
Which is kind of funny. Chewbacca must mean something.
Yeah, which is where Chewbacca.
Oh, somebody's thinking about the etymology of the names.
They really are.
yeah.
Think about everything in this game.
I like that. That feels like Lord of the Rings as well, where you can pick apart every name and find what the different root words are.
Oh yeah.
So what does chew mean? That's the question now.
It means eat one's food.
Okay.
Oh, eat God.
Whoa. Yeah.
But yeah, Baka's blade was like lost. Whoever holds the sword is like the leader.
Yeah.
So you return to the Wookiee village, and you can decide to overthrow Chundar,
Okay.
or you can just like agree with him that they've got a good system with the slavers. I don't know, and you just like do nothing.
So in this case, the good thing is to overthrow him, I suppose.
Yeah, and you like restore their father as
Yeah.
leader because he's a good Wookiee.
Good one.
And then you all get to overthrow Zerka together. You can help him with that.
Yeah. So then the Wookiees rise up, and you actually
That's
take
pretty
out
great.
the slavers.
Zerka? Chundar.
Chundar, and then Zerka Corp.
Oh, that's the company.
Yeah.
Never mind. What's your Wookiee's name?
Zalbar.
Zalbar.
Get it straight, Aaron.
I think I'm doing pretty well for...
We are throwing out way too many names.
And then another thing that happens, if this is indeed the third star map that you find, and you're leaving, you get attacked by Darth Bandon, who is Darth Malik's apprentice. Whoa.
Oh, indeed.
Pretty cool. So before we do the fourth planet of Korriban, if this is the third planet that you finish, on your way to the next planet, you are captured by the Leviathan, Saul Carrot's
Dun, dun,
ship.
dun.
Yes.
An interdictor.
Oh, cool. And yeah, he imprisons you and tortures you for information. You and Karth and Bastila. Initially, you have to like pick one of your crew that's going to rescue you, which is kind of fun. You can do it a few different times, using a different crew member each time. They have their own little route that they take. But then you break free. Saul says that Darth Malik is on his way.
I see I'm wasting my time here. When Malik arrives, you will learn my interrogation techniques are considered merciful among the Sith. I will leave you here in your cell with a small taste of the horrors you will suffer when Lord Malik arrives.
So you got to get out of there fast. So you break free, and then you make your way to the bridge. I guess we could explain who Saul Carith is, right?
Give a little history, maybe.
Yeah.
He used to be a Republic officer, and Karth served under him. like during the Mandalorian War.
And really looked up to him.
Very much, yeah.
I mean, he's a very good leader.
Karth feels very betrayed by him.
You start learning why Karth has all these trust issues.
That's a big reason why.
Yep. And I think it was along with a lot of other people, because I think a lot of people followed Malak and Revan, and it just bothered him. And I'm sure it bothered a lot of other people, but, he's the main character. You get to kind of see that point of view from him.
Yep.
You have to go outside the ship in spacesuits to get to the bridge because they sealed off the bridge.
That's the part I was talking about.
See, that sounds cool, but why do you not like it? What's happening here?
It's really slow.
Oh.
You take the longest, slowest steps.
But yeah, you fight and kill Saul. Karth gets his revenge. So Saul is laying on the ground dying, and he's like, Karth, come here. I have something to tell you. Karth goes over to him. He's like, what? What do you have to say? He whispers something to him, and Saul dies, and Karth stands up and he says, Bastila, you knew all the time. You were lying to me the whole time. I can't believe this.
You didn't know, did you? Remember my dying words. Remember them whenever you look at those you thought were your friends.
It can't be true, can it? No, it can't. Damn you. Saul, damn you. Basil, it is true, isn't it? And you knew. You and the whole damn Jedi Council, you knew the whole time.
Karth, it's not what you think. We had no other choice. Please, you don't understand.
So make me understand.
Not here, Karth, please. There's no time. Malak is coming. This isn't the place.
I'll explain later.
So the three of you book it out of there to the hangar, and on the way, who shows up?
Darth Vader.
He's time travel.
He uses the Infinity Gauntlets to time travel.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
What game are you playing?
It's Darth Malak.
Yeah.
Darth Malak shows up. And he laughs. He says, so we meet again.
What? You mean you don't know? All this time and you still haven't figured it out.
Well, you don't remember? Ha 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 ha. You are Darth Revan the whole time.
Da, da, da.
Brain explodes. It's such a good twist.
You find that out before you even do your fourth planet, though?
Yep.
And is that a true story that he's telling you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's this little flashback video you get after you find out while you're still standing there. It highlights some lines that's kind of suggesting that the Jedi would potentially consider trying to heal Revan.
What greater weapon is there than to turn an enemy to your cause, to use their own knowledge against them?
The big reveal.
The camera spins around, showing Revan taking off his mask, and it's this weird tiny head of whoever the character is.
But it is pretty cool.
And that's also why you share a bond with Bastila, is because she helped revive you or something.
She kept you alive.
Yes, you never died, right? I think the bond happened. I think on the bridge when they were fighting.
Bastila sustained your life force or something. They say.
It's true. I was part of the team sent to capture Revan, to capture you. When Malak fired on the ship, you were badly injured. We thought you were dead. Your mind was destroyed, but I used the Force to preserve the flicker of life in your body. I brought you to the Jedi Council. They were the ones who healed your damaged mind.
But they also altered his memory so that he did not remember who he was. Kind of with the thought that, they're pretty desperate in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Revan was a super powerful Jedi, and they thought maybe if he didn't remember who he was, he could be a powerful Jedi again, but do the right thing.
And I think also to kind of help they didn't even know what to do, right? Or
yeah,
because this whole quest, then
you know anything about the Star Force,
right? They're like, where'd this army come from? So I think they're kind of hoping he'll have some way to figure this out. And
it brings up some questions of, is that moral to do?
I mean, the Jedi are obviously always faced with tough decisions or tough scenarios, but it's classic showing the Jedi. It's they're not they're perfect, They're always doing things that are maybe they feel is right, but it's like
pretty questionable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very questionable, very desperate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, these games do a really good job of bringing up those questions and showing the ambiguity.
So that's what it's all been building up to.
Yeah, that's a good twist. I mean,
oh, it's great. Well, no, it's fun because then you get to talk to each of your teammates about, like, how do you feel about me being Darth Revan?
So Karth knew the entire time, right?
No, not until Saul told it.
Oh, so how does he? He doesn't react very well, does he? Or...
No, he is not happy. He can't believe it.
No, talk about his trust issues are just confirmed.
It's not so much mad at you; it's just mad at everyone else. It's like, once again, nobody's telling the truth, right?
Mad at the Jedi, and you can try to persuade him to say, like, Karth, like, you've been with me this whole time, you know, I've been really a good guy, you know, clearly I've turned away from my ways. You can say, I don't even remember being Revan, like, that's not who I am anymore. If you're going light side.
If you're being good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're being bad,
you're sweet.
It was me all along.
I am the Dark Lord reborn.
And then, you can start telling people, no, call me Darth Revan.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, everybody stays with you. It's not like anybody leaves, but Karth is the most suspicious and wary of you.
Right.
Which is fair.
I'd say so.
Everyone else is probably a little too trusting.
Well, they're all like, well, yeah, Mission is like, well, if you don't remember being Revan, then I don't see what the problem is.
Then I don't think there's a problem. It seems to me that if you don't really remember anything about being Revan, then it doesn't really matter anymore. You are who you are now, right?
Of course it still matters.
You're our friend.
In a way, though, it's like this is who you've become. So why is...
That was the whole plan anyway, is to have you come back and be light side instead.
Yeah.
So yeah, you fight Malik for a while, but he's clearly more powerful. I don't know if that's so much true. Sometimes I've been able to beat him pretty easy at this part. It's like, yeah, we'll just take him out right here. It'd be great. But no, Bastila confronts him, allowing you and Karth to escape. She stays behind to fight Malik off. You don't know what happens to her. You leave. You leave on the Ebon Hawk without Bastila.
Then you go and find the other part of the map.
Yeah, now we need to find the last piece of the star map, which is on Korriban. Which is, I like to save this for last, because then you find out you're Darth Revan, and you get to join the Sith Academy.
Right, especially if you're dark side, it's really fun.
In order to find the star map, you have to get access to the Sith tombs. And the only way to do that is if you're a student of the Academy.
Do they not know who you are?
No, they have no idea.
Because he's always wearing a mask?
Yeah.
Oh, because Revan was, yeah.
They don't realize that connection.
You also are able to bring your crew with you into the academy. You tell them that they're slaves, apparently. For gameplay purposes, it's left pretty...
Yeah. You think they'd maybe do better screening than that.
Right. So the star map is, unfortunately, in the one tomb that you're only able to get in after you've completed your entire training at the academy. It's like the final trial. It's like, great. To complete the training there, you have to impress the Sith Master, Master Uthar, but also his apprentice, or the second in command at the academy, Uthura Ban, who's this Twilight Sith. She tells you, she's like, clearly you're really powerful. Like, everybody knows you're going to be top of the class. So she confides in you that she's going to kill Master Uthar, and she wants you to help her.
And this is why the Rule of Two was created, because she might not be more powerful, but with the help of you, you can overthrow it.
It's funny to see, like, this inside angle on the way the Sith operate. Like, they are so bad. They're just always killing each other. And it's like all the other students you interact with are total jerks. It's like the entire school is Slytherin house.
So you can see why that's not sustainable over a long period of time.
Not only not sustainable, but they basically just keep making themselves weaker. I was reading a little bit here. According to what I found, I think the Rule of Two has only been placed 1,000 years roughly before the whole Rise of the Empire.
Okay. So
this is Old Republic era, where there's not really this Rule of Two necessarily.
But Sith just kind of naturally want to overthrow their master.
Well, I think it's always like a master and apprentice. That's not so much what they created. The idea was that there's only two. There really shouldn't be any other Sith, because otherwise they're always killing each other and essentially making each other weaker, because the more powerful isn't necessarily killing the other one.
Mm.
Sometimes it was them ganging up on them or whatever.
Right.
Okay. But they hadn't figured that out at this stage yet.
Bane hadn't started that. Bane basically kind of brought that about.
Okay.
What kind of made me think that there was some secret Sith somewhere is because Revan and Malik were fallen Jedi. They had no connection to the Sith prior to this. It almost seemed like they created this new Sith order.
I did read something else. It's like they were killing each other, and like I think there were different points where they basically wiped each other out or left each other vulnerable, and this Jedi just defeated them.
I kind of feel like the Academy was established after Malik and Revan fell, because there's Sith tombs here, and the students at the Academy are like archaeologists, like they're studying the ruins.
Yeah, because they went to Korriban, obviously, to find the Star Forge.
Right, to find the map. So I think that Revan and Malik were like, hey, there's a lot we could learn about the dark side here. So they set up an academy and having people research.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
So yeah, again, no connection to the former Sith who are buried here. Interesting, right?
Yeah, that's good to know, though. Good to have in mind what this stuff is doing.
But yeah, so there's 4 tombs. I can name them off because they're just cool Sith names.
Okay.
There's the tomb of Ajunta Paul, the tomb of Tulak Horde, tomb of Marka Ragnos, and then the last tomb is the tomb of Naga Sado. And each of the tombs kind of has their own little story. After you do the 3 other tombs, like that's enough to be the best. You can kill the other students even. There's definitely opportunities to do that. Or you can like help them, and there's some pretty interesting choices and conversations. Like some of the students are like, why would you save me? Like that's hurting your chances, you know? You can convince them to leave the academy, you know?
Yep, showing them another way.
Yeah. You're like, maybe, hit up the Jedi Academy on Dantooine. You never know.
I just find it like, do you tell them about it?
Well, like if you spare, like if you do something, and if you do anything nice, it's so obvious. Like you're not here to be the best Sith. So they're like, I'm not gonna like tell anybody that you're
Right.
lying about everything because you saved me or whatever. Yeah.
There's also a very interesting quest with Karth on this planet. One of the more interesting side quests. Basically, he thinks that his wife and son were killed, but he finds out his son has been going to the Sith Academy, trained to become a Sith.
Yeah, he's alive.
So, yeah, it's pretty sad, but if you choose the right conversation options, you can convince them to leave.
Leave the academy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
His name is Dustil.
Putting like a personal touch.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I did want to point it out just because I think that's like one of the best quests. It feels very important.
Oh, yeah. Another quest that I could have mentioned was on Tatooine, you find Bastila's mother. It's interesting, I think, mostly because I kind of see parallels to Anakin, just the way that he loved his mom, like knew his mom growing up and stuff, and that was a big attachment for him, where Bastila hates her mom. She has really terrible memories of her mom, and it kind of shows sometimes, like she can act kind of in anger sometimes. I think it goes back to early formative years.
Almost showing like why they try to take them from their parents early, because it sometimes hold on to certain attachments or feelings throughout their whole life.
Yeah, oh yeah. Even just like a feeling.
Yep. Whereas the hope is if you take them early, they can hopefully mold you the way they want you to feel. Almost.
Yeah, I feel like there's some problems with that too.
Yep.
So the last tomb that you do, I wanted to mention there's a few times you run into these things called Terran Tatek beasts.
Yeah.
And they are like, they hunt and kill Jedi.
They're really cool.
Maybe not like across planets, but they
would if they could.
They would if they could.
They're like intelligent beings where they could
They're
like
just-
fly.
yeah,
you
they're
know,
just
take a
monsters,
ship.
but-
But like if they were transported, they would hunt.
At some point, probably not too far prior to this game, the Jedi sent a bunch of Jedi out on the Great Hunt, they call it, to kill the beasts.
All of them, basically.
Kill them all because they were just a danger. And I think they killed a bunch of them, but you find the bodies of some of the Jedi who
The ones
did
on
not defeat
Korriban, anyway.
So you got to fight 2 at the same time in this tomb, which is tough. That's a good fight, but
Yeah. I was gonna point out, figure it's something to talk about, like with the whole character builds a little bit. Just how you start the game, you can pick like soldier, rogue, or
Soldier, scout, or scoundrel.
Oh, scoundrel, yeah. It's kind of goofy because you don't have any force powers right at the beginning of the game, and then blaster skills. But then you become a Jedi, and now suddenly
After you go to Dantooine, all you use is a lightsaber for the rest of the game.
you end up kind of almost wasting points at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, things that don't come in useful for the remainder of the game.
Strongest build is just to do soldier and guardian, and just full on lightsaber force power.
Stasis. Just freeze everyone and then slice them up.
Just stasis everyone, yeah. Pretty much. I have done a full run through with guns only, which is a good time.
Does not sound fun.
So you complete the tomb, you find the star map, and then on your way out, Master Uthar and Euthura are there waiting for you. Master Uthar says your final test is I'm going to have you kill my apprentice Euthura because she's becoming way too eager and he knows that she's plotting to kill him. So you have this choice. You can kill Uthar and then Euthura is the new leader of the academy. Or you can kill Euthura and then Uthar remains the leader. Or you can kill them both. Hooray! If you kill them both, then like everyone in the academy is super mad at you and you just kill all the Sith there.
So what happens, like, you've got all the maps, you
Yeah.
put them together.
Put the maps together, you find Luke Skywalker. So yeah, it shows you the location of the Starforge system. And here's what it looks like. Whoa. It's pretty cool as visual of the sun of the system. Energy from the sun is being pulled up to the Star Forge. It's like a giant station that is powered by a star.
That sounds familiar.
That's like Star Killer Base.
Yeah.
This is a factory that creates starships and droids.
Which isn't that kind of like the Rise of Skywalker?
Exegol?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Ancient Sith base that was used to construct all sorts of
Interesting.
giant...
I didn't realize they definitely took
things.
some things from it, which is, I think, kind of cool.
The Starforge is also super dark side somehow.
I think it's just, isn't it just kind of the concept?
Right, it's
like,
machine of war.
yeah.
So as you approach the Starforge, there's some kind of force field that causes the Ebon Hawk to crash on a nearby planet. There's like a bunch of ships that just have crashed here over time.
Very beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's like this tropical paradise.
Yeah, it is.
I'm looking at the cutscenes, I like it.
It doesn't look like the Ebon Hawk actually crashes. It looks like it lands.
I don't know, you like control malfunction.
Mhm.
But there's like a Republic ship that you land next to. And I never really questioned it. I thought this is just like a Bermuda Triangle or something and just kind of pulled in ships, you know? But why in the world would there be a Republic ship way out here?
Oh.
Malik and Revens.
Unless this was the one Malik and Revan took out here. Exactly.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
That's pretty cool.
I like that idea anyway. It sounds kind of cool.
I gotta get a good picture of the ricotta cheese.
Yeah, I keep thinking about cheese when you're discussing it.
Cheese, Grommet.
Look at them. This is what they look like. These weird big brain, bug-eyed aliens.
Alright, so they're bipedal, 2 legs. They kind of stand up on their toes a bit, but they have like a very tall cone head with eye stalks sticking out near the bottom of their head.
Looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
No. But they're still alive. They're still on this planet. But they have been very much like cut off from their empire they once had. There's 2 tribes. One of them is super primitive. They follow a leader who they call the One.
Oh.
Then the other tribe are like keepers of history. So it's really interesting to talk to them. They definitely know about the rise and fall of their empire. Apparently they just like, their empire like collapsed when some disease came over them.
Yep. Yeah, I was reading about them, and it was a combination of the disease that spread and then a bunch of slave revolts.
Yeah, sure. So you can either help the more primitive tribe and kill the elders, they're called, or you can help the elders and you kill the other tribe. I don't know. There's no peace.
Aw, so much killing.
But either way, they help you access a temple. I don't know what the temple was originally, but like right now it's controlled by the Sith. It's like an outpost or something.
Right, and you need to get into the temple to put the shield down so your ship can leave.
Yeah, whatever the force field was that caused you to crash here. There's a bunch of Dark Jedi in it that you fight. And then at the top of the temple, who do you face off against? Bastila.
What?
She turned to the dark side.
No.
No, yeah, she's been corrupted by Darth Malik. Isn't that sad?
It is sad.
Well, so she lost in that battle against him when she was defending your escape,
Right.
and then he basically broke her down over
You
the
see
course
a
of
scene of him force lightning torturing her. It's pretty rough.
Oh.
right. So he basically just breaks her down, and eventually she joins him and becomes his apprentice.
Right. And you have a choice. You can either let her go and she leaves for the Star Forge, or you can join with her and you will be like, together we will overthrow Malik and rule the galaxy.
So you had to bring in 2 Jedi with you. They're like, it's going to be too, evil in there. You're going to need our help. So you bring in Jolie and Juhani.
And man, if you choose dark side
At
here,
this point, if you turn dark side, you and Bastila have to kill them right there. And it only gets worse.
and then you go back to the Emin-Hod.
Very hard to play dark side. Oh, it's too
You
sad.
can tell Karth that you're dark side now, and he can't believe it. It's the worst betrayal, right? And then he runs away, and then you kill Zalbar and Mission.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you're not evil. What do you do?
Yeah.
Well, the game's not over yet.
Ooh.
Oh no, not over yet. So let's say we're good side, okay? Bastila just flies away in a ship. You disable the force field, and then now you can make your way to the Star Forge itself.
Or if you were evil, you still make your way there.
Either way, you need a big confrontation with Malik at the end.
Yes. Also, Karth contacts the Republic, and so the Republic fleet comes, because that's the whole point, is you found the Star Forge and you want to destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and holy crap, you fight so many Sith in the Star Forge.
Yeah, this part really drags on. And I found when I was trying to do dark side, you don't have any other Jedi with you because you killed them. So it's just like you killed your friends who are Jedi. So it's you and like Canderous, and it's just not as good.
So a question though, because you said they call the Republic. If you're evil, do
I
you?
think you let them keep thinking.
You don't really
Yeah.
reveal
So
who
the Republic doesn't know anything yet.
up until the critical moment where you either face off against Bastila again. You can like turn her back to the good side, and then she will use her battle meditation to help the Republic win the battle.
Nice.
Destroy the Star Forge.
Yeah. The alternative is Bastila uses her battle meditation to make the Sith win, and like it's really awful. The whole Republic army is like wiped out. It's rough.
Ouch.
But then you make your way to Malik, which is a pretty epic confrontation. It's awesome.
Oh, so if you were evil though, or good, but the battle is won either way before you fight Malik.
Yeah, it's pretty much resolved. Like the Republic moves in to start bombing the Star Forge. But yeah, first you fight Malik, which is really interesting. I liked some of the dialogue there because Malik was so sure of himself, but then he's like, wow, you still have the power of Revan. He's like, I thought you were weakened, especially if you're light side. He's like, he just can't believe it.
Still spouting the wisdom of the Jedi, I see. Maybe there is more truth in their code than I ever believed. I cannot help but wonder, Revan, what would have happened had our positions been reversed? What if fate had decreed I would be captured by the Jedi? Could I return to the light as you did?
Or if you're dark side, he's like, he should have known better. Could never defeat you. And then there's this little picture. This is the last thing you see. You have some kind of celebration on the unknown world. You are victorious.
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
That's if you're good.
If you're dark side, it shows you standing with Bastila looking out over your soldiers. And, oh yeah, this is pretty awesome. Yeah, I'll show you this cutscene. If the Star Forge is destroyed, it falls into the star and explodes. Look at that.
Oh.
I like the imagery. That's cool.
It explodes like the Death Star.
And it explodes into sparks, just like the Death
I know,
Star,
yeah.
and just like everything.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh, also, if you're dark side, Karth confronts you one last time. It's the saddest thing.
Oh, what happens?
You kill him. It's really horrible. He's gonna try to save you, with his every last breath he has.
So that's not the way you're supposed to do.
Well, right. I mean, know what you're getting into if you choose dark side. The second game is much more confusing.
That game is a little confusing.
It's a totally different tone and story.
I really enjoyed the second game, at least a lot of parts of it.
We could talk about that another time. Thanks, guys, though. This was fun.
Well, we kind of just went through all of what happened. You guys have any, favorite things about it? Or
Yeah.
It's just a very good story and fun game, lots of content. The side missions are fun, too, and there's a cool bounty hunting quest, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a cool bounty hunting quest that you get on Manan, I think.
Yeah.
Jenna Hardin. It's like a secret bounty hunter guild.
It's a yub for me.
It is a yub?
Oh, 2 of them.
It's one of the most popular Star Wars games ever made. Games in general ever made.
Yeah.
Well, and even though it's 17 years old now? It holds up so well.
Well, I
Cody struggled with
struggled so hard to play. I tried to play several times. The farthest I've ever made is just getting off of the starting planet.
What? Why is that?
I don't know. Everything just felt so clunky, and I had no really idea what I was doing.
I mean, it's an old game. For sure.
Yeah, its age shows in some ways. It's also just kind of a different combat system than any game I've really ever played since. And most newer RPGs have a lot more fluid combat. This is a very strange turn-based.
Yeah.
I've played this game 7 or 8 times through, so I just know what to do. And
definitely more about the story for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this was BioWare.
Yeah.
One of their early games.
So we'll put them on the map.
Oh yeah,
on the star map.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us, Hannah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
If you watch an episode of the show sometime and join us, then we won't go for 2 hours. It's a little shorter.
Okay, sounds good.
Something like this, I knew it was going to be impossible to fit into.
This is like the movie. We talk about the movies for this long.
Well, and this could have been a million times longer. It was just...
Oh, we could have done an episode on each planet or something.
Go on, yeah.
This was shockingly brief.
I should do a full playthrough on our YouTube channel.
Oh my
Go
gosh.
for it if you want.
That'd be fun.
Put something up on our YouTube channel.
I know.
But thanks for joining us, listeners, and depending on when we release this, we'll probably be coming to you next with some element of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.